Okay, let's get right into it. We're all trying to figure out the secret to getting better grades, right? But what if it's not about studying more hours, but studying smarter? Today we're going to look at the science behind how we actually learn, so you can get some real, tangible skills to absolutely ace that next test without totally burning it.
You know the scene. It is the night before a huge exam. You're surrounded by textbooks, maybe some highlighters, and a whole lot of coffee. It feels like you're being super dedicated, doesn't it? But is any of it actually working?
Yeah, not really. In fact, the research is pretty much crystal clear on this one. Cramming and pulling all-nighters are actually linked to the lowest grades. And it gets worse. That one marathon study session can mess with your memory and your reasoning skills for up to 4 whole days. So if that's the wrong way, what's the right way?
Well, it all starts before you even crack open a book. The most successful students, they build a really solid foundation for learning. Let's break down how they do it.
This slide really says it all. Your brain just isn't built for a 10-hour information dump. It's designed to learn in these short, repeated bursts. I mean, think about it like you're training for a sport. You wouldn't do one single 10-hour practice, right? No way. You do shorter drills over weeks, spacing your study time out into these little chunks that leads to way higher retention.
And here's the best part. You don't need months to build this new habit. Work from Dr. Andrew Huberman's lab shows that it only takes about 3 days of being consistent to start training your brain into a new, much more effective study routine. Just 3 days. That's all it takes to get your brain and body to expect that it's time to focus.
The key here is just being intentional. So first, schedule it. Literally put recurring study blocks into your calendar that tells your brain, hey, get ready to learn. Second, find one dedicated spot. No studying on your bed one day and the kitchen table the next. A consistent space is a powerful signal to your brain that it's time to focus. Third, and this one is a biggie, get rid of distractions. Put your phone in another room. Tell your friends you're going offline for a bit. And finally, the best students, they usually study alone to really lock in and avoid getting sidetracked.
Okay, so you've set the stage, you've got your time, you've got your place. Now what do you actually do? It's time to build your active learning toolkit.
Let's start with what not to do. I know we all love to reread our notes and go crazy with the highlighter. It feels really productive, right? But it turns out studies show it's one of the least effective things you can do. It's totally passive, it doesn't actually help you understand anything, and what's worse, it can make you focus on tiny little details instead of the big, important concepts.
So, the secret is to shift from just passively taking in information to actively pulling that information out of your brain. This is something called active recall, and I'm telling you, it is probably the single biggest game changer for studying effectively.
So how do you actually practice this active recall thing? Well, a few simple tools can make a huge difference. You've got flashcards. They're a classic for a reason. They force you to retrieve that info from memory. Another great one is to go into each study session with just one specific goal, like mastering one single math formula. And here's the ultimate test. Try to explain the concept out loud in simple terms. If you start stumbling over your words, you know exactly where your knowledge gap is.
And this just brilliantly nails the whole idea of active learning. We tend to think of tests as just, a way to get a grade. But Dr. Huberman really emphasizes that the act of quizzing yourself is actually one of the most powerful ways to build and lock in that knowledge in the first place. It's not an evaluation, it's a learning strategy.
So you've built your routine, you're using active recall, but how do you make sure that information is still there for the final exam? And even beyond that, let's talk about how to make it all stick.
Taking practice tests is absolutely critical. It is so much more than just practicing. First off, even when you get answers wrong, it perfectly pinpoints your knowledge gaps so you know exactly what to review. Second, it builds up your confidence for the real deal, which helps reduce that test anxiety. And what happens when you do both of those things? You get a proven track record of better performance on the actual exam.
I absolutely love this. It's a simple but really powerful mantra that came from the labs where Dr. Huberman trained. It's a 3-step process to get to true mastery of pretty much any subject. Watch someone do it, or learn it from a source. Do it yourself. And then there's the final step, and that is to teach it. This is a technique that the most successful students use all the time. After you've studied a topic by yourself, grab someone, a classmate, your mom, anyone, and teach it to them. The trick is you have to do it from memory. Don't look at your notes. This will immediately show you what you truly know versus what you only kinda know.
So why is teaching so powerful? The science behind it is actually pretty cool.
When you know you're going to have to explain something to someone else, your brain just automatically starts organizing the information in a totally different way. It builds a more logical, coherent structure, connecting all the dots in a way that just rereading ever could.
So we've covered the what and the how. But to really power through on those tough days, you need something more. You've got to find your why.
There was a major study of top-performing medical students, and they found this one common thread that went way deeper than just their study techniques. It was all about their mindset and their motivation.
They called it aspirational motivation. Now, this isn't just about wanting to get an A on the next test. It's a much bigger picture kind of vision. It's a belief about how doing well in school is going to shape the future that you want for yourself, for your family, and just for your life's journey. It's that long-term goal that makes the daily grind feel like it actually means something.
And ultimately, this vision is your fuel. When you're struggling with a topic you don't really enjoy, or you're just feeling tired, this aspirational goal is the thing that's going to pull you forward. It connects all the hard work you're doing today to the amazing future you're building for tomorrow.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to really think about. Beyond the next report card, beyond the next test, what's that big, exciting goal that all this hard work is pulling you toward? Figuring that out might just be the most powerful study tip of all.